Hey, Storytelling Ron. I want to make a quick little video of why, because I want to, and we need this. Christians, this, oh shoot, I messed this up. This is a, me prepping up real quick for the game coming up here in a minute. And I want to show you guys that we Christians can create a Star Wars-y like adventure and steal from Star Wars and all sci-fis, because they stole from us. They stole from our H.G. Wells and all that, so we get to steal right on back. So I'm taking all the genres that you and I love from sci-fi stuff and creating a Christian version. Now, what does that mean, Christian version? I got Dominators in there with power swords. That's right. Totally taking the fort, the dark side force, whatever. We got the Empire down here. Atheist, pagan empire. Of course, slavery. What's wrong with slavery? What's wrong with Marxism and communism? That's exactly what this empire is. It's exactly what the woke want. Okay? So and there's all these planets here full of slaves and worker. There's the worker class and the rich class and the slave class, right? Exactly what they want here in the West, because they can't stand what we have now. Earth has been forgotten and ignored, and these are dual stars. I think there's some planets right here. That's right. I do have the Gobles here, which is my ripoff of the Jawas. Jawa, the Hutts. The Hutts are here. So criminal organization. All the creatures in the galaxy are genetically modified from DNA, because we can't make no freaking evolution DNA out of nothing. It has to come from life that was created 6,000 years ago, and that was all from the solar system. So the atheists left the Earth, nuked it, tried to wipe it out, because they just wanted to erase Israel and God and everything there, because they think they can do that, but they can't. And it failed, and that's where I have the post-apocalyptic game setting. But a few hundred years later now, the Christians are doing their missionary work. They're going out into space. So what happened? During those 300-400 years, the atheist empire just started terraforming and genetically modifying humans and animals and, mad scientist stuff. They made killer Terminators. They made, what's that guy called from Terminator? Come on, the evil dude. Come on, someone say it. I guess it's on the tip of my tongue. Or not. I forgot now. It'll come to me. The Terminator, evil Terminator AI thing. They made the Warhammer 40k Biodres, which is like Tyranids and Zergs. And, because there was the DNA evil mad scientists, atheists, and then the evil AI computer mad engineers. And then there's the mutant marauders, which of course are genetically messed up. And there's also the remnants, which is like the rebellion. They're trying to survive, but they got no direction. They're hopeless. They're pirates. They're smugglers. They're slaves. They've all basically, just like, I guess, I don't know, China, Russia, any place where there's no Christianity or no majority Christians, Canada, I don't know, Mexico. Mexico has a horrible atheist history, from their civil wars and stuff. You think they're Catholic, but they're not. They're actually very atheist. They wiped out the Catholic Church, right before the modern history. So, it's all that sort of depressing. And what hope do they have? Well, they got none until, that's right, missionaries are going out planting churches. That's what exactly happened 300 to 600 AD, 600 AD in Europe, when everyone was just killing each other and gladiators and torture and slavery, and Christians were silently going out as Christian men, rebuking and correcting and converting, especially the leaders, and planting churches. So in this game, that's what they're doing. They from here to Bernard Star, and it's like time dilation to get to the star. So it only takes a matter of a couple of weeks, which is a creation science and theoretical thing about how light and speed and gravity and time all work to, we believe, bring the light to us faster than we realized. So Planet Flotsam is their first planet that they, it's at this sort of Jupiter planet right there. First one that they kind of planted as a church. Well, this group didn't. The previous playtest group did, but I just went ahead and used that as a storyline. And the reason I'm GMing this Christians in Space and playing it and play testing and moving along is it helps me, and it forces me, helps me to make the story, the campaign, the world. I mean, I have it kind of laid out like a sandbox, but I don't have all the details. I hear my dog barking, other dogs out there, and so I'm just loving this. I'm loving that the players, and I thank you guys for jumping in with me on this. Not LGBT friendly. This is one of those, because we live in a free world where we can choose who we want to be with and not. And I know you all get to decide what's hate. So do we Christians. We can decide what's hate too. So not hate. It's not LGBT friendly, which is really the true. Anyway. Okay. So this is the planet. Over here are some dual stars, and that's not necessarily 2D flat. It's obviously 3-dimensional, but I just drew it out this way like a doodle. There's some killer bot stations, which are the dread bots, which are the Terminators that are kind of lurking around. But there's been an epic little Christians in Space, I think 20 episodes now, 21, 20th episode last week. Wow, I didn't do like a big celebration, but we've done 20 episodes now. The chemistry of the players. I'm not editing. I'm not really laying rules down for how people should act. I'm just trying to get them to, be on camera and participate and, hopefully move the story along. But I'm allowing sort of our humdrum to be included in it. And we're not fast paced because, one, they're all new players, but they're all just players. They're not actors, or, it's not like we're making. I'd like it to be a ministry and a show, but I'm not going to force anyone because I'm not paying them. And so I'm just trying to play this in a kind of a regular way, and we have a lot of humdrum going on as well during the game, because that's how role-playing games are. We should get used to that. Okay. So the ship is here. They're dealing with the fun adventures. I'm going to show you some of that, but I made this kind of map with these little tokens here as their notes. And they can type in here, which they haven't, but that's fine. They can type in here anything they want as far as all these different places that they've heard of or been to. They actually went to Hydroscoop Station and Raptorine, which is kind of like a Tatooine. They went to those two, but then had to hurry back to Planet Blossom to help their church, because I rolled a really bad church thing in the guide there. I have a guide for the different churches, and when you leave them, do you leave them with enough security and enough health? And that's by giving them treasures you found. And if you do, then they'll be strong enough to defend and cope without you. If you don't, or if I roll really bad, they'll be in trouble, and they will send a message of help, or help us please. So that's cool. It's a cool story thing to sort of intercut in their adventure. And I recommend as a GM that if you do use it, and you should, don't, you can have it to where it comes into play at the right moment, not in the middle of their adventure that they're dealing with. At the end of that adventure, they get a message. Once there's a bad problem happening in a church, don't interrupt what they're doing, because it's just not good storytelling. Do it when they're at a moment where they're in between other adventures. It's just better for storytelling that way. I don't want them to be in the middle of a fight with some pirates and having to deal with them and liberate a town, and then suddenly get a call, we need you here instead. And they go, I don't mind it if they're searching around and doing mundane stuff, but I don't want it to be when they're right in the middle of a very harrowing situation, especially harrowing. Okay. So they have not been to Leyland, but they've heard of Leyland Corp. And I hope I'm not Leyland is the actual, these are real words of these real planets. And I'm using them actually in my galactic, storyline. So I'm kind of ooh, maybe I should change their names, but I like Leyland, and I'm using it as my Leyland Corporation, and it has nothing to do with whoever named these stars and planets and discovered them. Okay. Just so all Wolf. I don't know who Wolf is, but that person was prolific. But Leyland, I hope, I'm just using it's fun. It sounds cool. Leyland Corporation is, it's not God-fearing. It's a pagan corporate, but nothing to do with the person, the astronomer who discovered this stuff. Okay. Whoever you are, I don't even know. Anyway, so and I could change that, I suppose, but whatever. No one notices me. So, except the LGBTers. Okay. And the whatever. Okay, so they're down here, and they've heard of these, and so I'm building out this galaxy, man. It's coming along. I'm building. They've heard of a couple of rumors from over here that I'm building out some scary stuff, some sort of Warhammer 40k dready stuff over here. Freaking cool, man. Let me show you. They're down here at the mines, and the players can't look at this, but they're about to do the finale here. Finally, after like 4 episodes, in one they came down here, ran over one of their own, reversing their vehicle, and then had to go back because they got to give him a grievous wound. They freaking injured him, and go back and heal. See, so in my game you actually get grievous wounds, not just hit point damage, but actually there's grievous wounds as well. So that I really like. That really messes things up. And they're about to fight these space crabbies and deal with the mining area and get some treasures. And when they do get these treasures, they got to go back to the First Church of Flotsam here and support it. Give them all the treasure or whatever amount, and that way this will get stronger, and then they can go off and do other adventures. And this is their ship. This is the church's ship. This is a ship they defeated the cult raiders, and now it's parked here. Now these are actually above the planet in orbit and not next to it like it's showing here. But I have it here as just an easy reference. It's really cool. And so this right here is the info of the church. I put as a token. I made this a token. These are some of my own notes about it in this scene. And the reason I'm just doing it here is I don't really like going to the right on Foundry and looking through. It just feels very clunky to me. I just like it to be right here on the scene, on this, in right here. It's nice and handy for me to do my little notes. And these are just tokens. I just changed it to these, these things. These are tokens of these larger maps of the ship. This represents this. This is the token of it. It's got all my info about the ship. That's all you need for the ship, by the way. It's very simple, yet very fun and cool. This right here explains this entire ship. This ministry ship. And this is the missionaries, their shuttle or their space transport USS Savior. That's their ship. They got their, they got a parked comm security role. That's temporary. I think I should probably take that off, but they got a handle 12, which is pretty good. So they need to roll, whatever they roll above a 12 in the piloting could give bonuses to other people, especially in combat. In non-combat situations, they just got to beat a 12 when I say fly through these asteroids or something, or, something like that. But in combat, the 12 is the number they need to beat over. So if he rolls an 18 in his total piloting roll, that's 6 over 12. So he gets an extra D6. So we can use that D6 for his own, for him firing. He's really lined up his shot, because I rolled an 18 with this handling of 12 of the ship. Or he gives it to the gunner who, lined up the shot for him. Or he puts it onto his defense because he's really moving the ship around and giving it, zigzagging it so it doesn't get hit, or adds it, or puts it against the other ships. Well, no, I can't do anything else. No, it's just those are the main ones. Yeah. Shooting and defense. Then there's a comm person. A comm person can roll this and get their plus D6 here. Actually, I'm going to change that. It is now plus 2 DR. So what does that mean? In this game, you've got 5 ranks of dice. Die 4, die 6, die 8, die 10, die 12. So that's 2 die, which is a D6. And the reason I say 2 die is because now it's the same game. Just so you know, first edition this is now second edition, or I'm slowly changing it to it. But I just wanted to change the terminology to die ranks. So 2 die ranks is a D6 because when let's say he rolls that, right? He gets 2 die ranks to his roll. What is this minus D6 thing here? Tough guy voice comlink. Minus D6. I don't know what that means. I'm going to have to ask the players. I'm going to ignore that. 2D. Okay. So let's say the comms person. So the pilot does his thing, right? And we're in the middle of a battle. The comms person now can roll this roll, which is their comlinks. And this covers scanning, sort of like cloaking, but it's more like, hindering targeting systems and stuff. You can hinder targeting systems. It's a communication. It's all everything, right? The whole shebang of electronics warfare, basically. And so they roll that, and let's say they roll with their skill and with the comm and whatever else they got that can add a bonus. But I say, two die ranks for the comm. You have 2 die ranks in the skill comm links, so that's 4 die ranks. I don't know what else. Oh, someone blesses him. One of the clergy guy in the ship. Oh, Comlinks guy, may the God be with you in this, right? So he gives him 2 more die ranks. So it's 6 die ranks. Okay, so that's done. So now he's going to roll. What's 6 die ranks? Well, it's D12 because that's 5 die ranks and plus an additional D4. Got that? So that's what he gets to roll, but he keeps the highest. So a D12 and a D4, rolls both of them, and whatever is the highest number, that's what he keeps. Okay, plus his trait, which is his clever technology trait, which is going to be cleverness, and then a second edition. Same thing. Secrecy, technology, clever are all the same trait. And then he rolls that, and then he has a. Let's say he rolls and this is an 18, like total. Let's say the total comes to be an 18. So now he needs to get above whatever he gets above a 10, basically. So 18 is a D8, or D8, which is 4 die ranks. D8, 4 die ranks, same thing. So he can now split that up amongst whatever. He can add it to defense of the ship. He can help the targeting of the shooters, especially the ones with electronic targeting, which they all have. He can use it against their targeting of your ship, which is actually defense. So same thing. Or he can use it and scan the other ship, and that I would sort of, as a GM, have to decide what does that represent with the that 18 roll, as opposed to using it for other things. I would say that's a pretty good roll, and I would above a 12, so I would decide on what information they would garner from that. But the way you define or decide what their die rank difference of is, it's always a 10, but in the case of a ship it's based on the handling right here. Okay, I know it's confusing, but whatever. It's cool. The defense is a 12, so in order to be hit, they get got to roll a 12. Obviously, you get all these sort of die rank bonuses, or they can even the handling of the ship could be added to the die rank or to the defense of this 12. So, would I say that the guy had a D6, two rank above handling? So he's going to say, I'm going to put that to defense, and that's a D6. So I'm going to roll a D6, or he's going to roll a D6 rather, and 2. So now his defense is a 14. So when they're trying to shoot at him, because he's zigzagging, he gets a 14. Then the armor save is a D12. That is every part of the ship, and every part of the ship has 6 hit points. That's how tough the hull is. If they got hit, I roll, D20 parts. So let's say I roll a D20. They got hit by something. I roll a 18. Launcher. The launcher is hit. The launcher has a D12 armor save. I roll that real quick. I don't even know why I'm rolling this, but I'm just doing it for the fun of it. And 9, pretty good. So whatever damage is taken, it absorbs the armor. The hull absorbs 9 of it. And what's left over is this whole 6 here. So if he does take any damage, if he does go below the 6 to 0, then that launcher is just disabled. Not necessarily utterly destroyed, but inoperable for sure. And I would do some other stuff with it or damage it. So the launcher is they can fix it, but it's takes time. Okay, so it's cool. That's how simple this is. And if say I could roll like where they damage a corridor and say or one of these other rooms, and that becomes destroyed, so they have to like go around it now. Enemy ships can dock and board, and the culture of the galaxy is that no one wants to blow up your ship. They want to take it because of the wealth and the risk of it is worth it. Their life is not worth it. Conquering and taking your stuff is worth it to them. So for them, life is not valuable, So this is their place. I want to show you where they've been real quick, just to do this for the fun of it. This is Raptorine, which is the like a Tatooine that they went to, and I tried to get them. This was a. Hope they're not watching this, but this is a like a dead transport floating in space, and these guys were gonna ambush them, these assault gunboats right here with pirates that were gonna board their ship, but they didn't take the bait. They just flew down to the planet, ignored this trap. I'm like, what the heck? I thought they would go for it. Anyway, so they go down to this planet, and here's the trade hub. Let's see, they go to the trade hub first. See, look at that, freaking Star Wars, man. But it's not. It's Christians in space. And these guys are all isolated on these planets, suffering, dying. They need you, man. They need you in the gospel. They need you to go scour the galaxy, evangelizing all these lost souls. and they're being oppressed by, guess what, on this planet. Do I have it? Look at this. These poor little saps, these poor little pagans, all woke in their LGBTQness, are slaves here. This is a slave crate to these reptilians who don't care, man. They're actually reptiles get genetically modified to have human intelligence, but they're basically, so they're more animal than human. They don't have souls. So guess what? Free to blast them away. Wish the guys would do it. They freaking ran away. It was awesome. The scenario. It was like it was episode 17 maybe or 16 where they came here and did some stuff, and they did not free these slaves or free these people from their oppression. See? Why? Because I'll tell you why. Because they knew they were in over their heads as missionaries, and they knew they couldn't deal with it just yet. They were trying to figure out what the heck is going on first. And that's true of any missionary and Christians and colonizing and going out. You don't know what you're dealing with. You're having a hard time dealing with it. You got to make compromises. They sold slave crates. They sold crates for slavery because they were trying to get some, I don't know, wealth or whatever, but they're trying to get connections to figure out what's going on. And actually, that's exactly what happened in 6th century North Italy when the church was slowly starting to expand. They bought slaves from slave traders. That's right. They bought slaves. But in this account, the Pope, who was soon to be Pope Gregory, he bought these slaves, these Anglican slaves, these boys. That's right, boys. He trained them, though. He got them trained as monks to go back to their homeland. Gee, what horrible, evil Christians we are. And so he freed them to go back, but as Christians, which is the freest thing of all. So he didn't buy them to have them be servants or, slaves in the church. He had them to be monks and to go out and start a Christian place up in North, and they could go visit their family or return to their families. It's kind of a thing. That's how evil we Christians are. And we don't know that history, that church history. That's why I really love doing For Lord RPG. And I'm showing you can do all kinds of adventure. There's no, and if you want, steal my ideas of evangelism, rebuking and converting and planting churches for your own RPGs in those worlds. I've got a lot of questions. I do need to go through them and answer them. And some people are trying to work it out themselves. They're Christian, the Christian, how they fit it in their favorite RPGs. One, I'd beg you to check this one out and try that, because I've already sort of figured it out. Well, I did figure it out. I don't know. And if nothing else, take my components and then incorporate it into yours. And like one guy asked me, should I play God or make a fake God that's just similar to God as the well, one, you don't need to play God in the game. I mean, you could play a Jesus if you wanted, like he came down, but that's unnecessary too. You could play an angel who brings a message once in a while. But if you look at like the modern after Jesus leaves, they didn't need Jesus directly, right? They just needed to evangelize, just evangelize. So you don't need intervention of God necessarily, and the only intervention of God that you would need in the game is that he gives the people, the evangelists, the missionaries, the ability to accomplish things. The will of God, though. So when they do get blessings, and I have a system in mind where you get blessings and healing and all that, and some miracles, and you can come up with your own miracles. But that doesn't mean that you always do the will of God, or the will of God will always have you succeed. Okay, the will of God is not ours, and he doesn't mind when we fail. Obviously, plenty of missionaries failed. So even if you do an amazing blessing or heal or miracle on your brothers and sisters or on the people around you, that doesn't mean it's the success God wants, or you know what I mean? Or it doesn't mean you, so that's a good lesson too. I don't think you need, I would not be playing God or Jesus in the game. That's unnecessary. That's not the point. The point is that all the other gods in the game are demons, and they're affecting, they're cheating, right? They're cheating. And so God is allowing us, especially in the dark ages, and if you have a world that's sort of like this, he's allowing us to use miracles to match whatever the evil is. So, for instance, today in the modern world, we Christians don't need miracles. I mean, I know some do, and some believe in them and all that, but we don't necessarily need them. The reason we don't need them is because we have the Bible. It's finished. It's full. It's ready. Everyone can. We as Christians can use it in our as the word, and it's very powerful. So we don't need to use blessings. I would say, though, back in medieval times and Dark Ages, the word was not yet fully realized. It wasn't fully studied, wasn't fully understood, apologetics and all that. So the Christians then, I think they did need miracles, they needed that as a tool. And God, I think, allowed that to happen when it was needed. I mean, he obviously can allow miracles to happen at any time, blessings and stuff. But today it's statistically speaking unnecessary. So in your game, you need to decide that how much of it, and I would think a lot, right? I would think you would do extreme, allow it to go to the extremes. Like in my game, the Dark Ages settings, this one is the 6th century. There's a lot of good, they use the blessings and miracles a lot. In the Christians in Space one, they're not really using any of the blessings. They're using prayer. They're definitely praying, but they're not pastors. None of them is an actual pastor or a nun in the game, and that's their choice, But they're only really using prayer and glory. The warrior guy's using glory, but he's starting to realize he's got to preach. So he's starting to learn to preach and get a preach blessing, that thing. But in the Dark Ages one, I noticed they definitely use just like in history, just like in real history, the church history, they definitely are using the miracles and using them a lot. And in the Christians in Space one, I realized they're using more technology. They're like the laser guns and weapons to liberate the people and then convert them, with that way, as opposed to using, God's miracles. And so that's the range, and it's totally fine. So for all of you out there that are trying to figure this out, please get my game, support me, because I could use the support, and also, by supporting me, it encourages me too. It really helps, and I'm really encouraged by all the messages I got from all these little viral videos I'm doing. And this is fun. I'm telling you, I'm having such a blast doing this game, Christians in Space and the Dark Ages, and I want to do an Apostles Epoch. One. I did a series on it with actors as a show to try to sell as a show, but didn't get sold. But I just loved it, and I definitely want to do that one as well. Just gotta find time, but I'm whatever. We'll figure it. I'll figure it out. But again, for those of you, it's very possible, perhaps maybe easy, not easy. I think I got it figured out. So please take my ideas and run with them and own them. You own them. It's not my ideas, but I think I figured it out for all of us Christian men. I think I figured some stuff out. And you guys can, obviously do your own stuff as well. But check out my For the Lord RPG, the 3 settings. The Dark Ages one is going to explain a lot of it. And then these two have the church plants info in it, these 2 settings. And then this one has the vehicle stuff, combat, spaceship combat. But I'm incorporating. In my 2nd edition, which I'm working on right now. It's kind of almost done, but I'm just trying to clean it up. So I have 1 book for the rules, and then 1 book for each of the settings. That way I don't have to constantly update all the same rules in every book, kind of thing. Well, I'm just trying to figure out how that works or not works. But I don't know. I may go back to the other way. Because I noticed that a few rules get changed in each setting, like little tweaks here and there. So I don't know. Anyway, thanks for listening. I just want to do another fun video. I'm just working on this, and my mind was going, and I just wanted to do another video just for the fun of it, because there are no other Christian RPG videos out there, and yet here we are, all Christian men playing role-playing games, being told how to be a pagan, how to make sure you play like a pagan. Because we're all diverse here. Play a pagan, and I'm just getting tired of it. Watching all these, pagan RPGs where everyone acts like men in them, including the women. The women don't even act like women in them; they just act like men, and that's their equality supposedly. Yep, I am jaded. Okay, in this joyful Christian RPG ministry I'm doing, this could be your ministry too. This is my ministry. This is for the Lord. This is my thing for the Lord. And I am fulfilling my addiction of RPGs completely. And and also my addiction for Jesus, like above that, you know. In the game of life, roll holy dice. All right.